died
I
being
am not the
denied an
person I
immigration
was.
I
status.
can't.
It
Well,
is
They
no,
ruined my life
I want to see
completely.
members
He
of
was
my
frightened
family
of being
so far.
arrested.
It's like a death sentence.
They ruined my life completely. In November 2016, Jocelyn John agreed a voluntary removal to Grenada, a country she had left aged 53 years earlier. The former Ritz chambermaid was wrongly classified as living in the UK illegally in 2009. She lost her job and spent years sleeping on relatives' sofas and floors. Despite 75 pages of evidence proving a lifetime spent here, the Home Office said that she faced detention unless she left the UK. So eventually, she agreed to self-deport.
He died being denied an immigration status, which was rightfully his. Dexter Bristol moved from Grenada to the UK in 1968, aged 8, to join his mother, who was working as an NHS nurse. He was sacked from his cleaning job in 2016 because he had no passport, was denied benefits, and became depressed. Dexter died while still trying to prove he was in this country legally.
I was born under the British flag. Lydden Lewis arrived in the UK aged 11 in 1961, a year before Jamaica became independent. He tried for many years to get a British passport, but was unable to pay the £900 fee. When he visited the Windrush Task Force headquarters in 2018, his original passport was seized, with officials saying they needed to investigate spent criminal records dating back 40 years.
I can't work now. George Poleon came to the UK from St. Lucia in 1968, age 15. He worked for 47 years and assumed he was British until he tried to claim benefits in 2014. He was told he was ineligible and became homeless, sleeping in the foyer of Homerton Hospital, East London. He found it impossible to persuade officials he was here legally, despite having more than 37 years of national insurance, tax, and medical records.
I want to see members of my family who are sick. Isildur Williams moved to the UK in 1962 and worked as an NHS paediatric nurse for 30 years before retiring to Jamaica. In 2014, she was refused application to return to visit her children in England. I don't understand it, she said. I've lived and worked in Great Britain nearly all my life. I looked after the country's children. We're a very close family. I'm scared I'll never see them again.
It is always at the back of your mind. Geoffrey Miller came from Grenada in 1966, aged 9, on his brother's passport. He was aware he needed to naturalise formally, but the process was expensive, and he was worried he didn't have all the documents required. He decided instead to avoid all contact with the state, but spent years worrying he was going to be arrested by immigration enforcement.
I am not the person I was. Gbolagade Ibukun-Oluwa has been homeless for 12 years and is sheltering most nights in cafes at Heathrow Airport, occasionally managing to sleep in his wheelchair. Before a serious car accident, he worked in this country for decades, having arrived from Nigeria in 1981. He has indefinite leave to remain, but lost the documents, and has spent years trying to persuade the Home Office he is here legally.
It's like a death sentence.
A British citizen with a UK passport, Pauline Pennant, had retired to Jamaica after working as an NHS nurse for almost 30 years. When she became seriously ill during a visit to London for her son's wedding, she was told she had secondary bone cancer. She was referred to a specialist doctor and given a £4,388 bill, with officials saying she was not entitled to free NHS healthcare.
To be told you don't exist, it's overwhelming. Winston Walker arrived from Jamaica aged 18 months in 1966. He was refused a driving license in 2008. After contacting an MP for help, he was told he did not exist on any data in this country. He lost his job as a security guard and was out of work for 8 years, becoming destitute, homeless, and forced to beg on the streets. I was convinced I was an illegal immigrant. I got frightened.
He was frightened of being arrested. Eddie Lindsay arrived in England from Jamaica in 1960, aged 10. He was sacked from Tesco in 2012 because he had no British passport. The fact that he had lived in the UK for more than 50 years made no difference. The lack of documentation meant he was unable to marry the mother of his 2 daughters. He died in October 2017.